I'm recording, by the way. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Hello.
Hi, Katie Jones.
Hi, Ryan Durgy.
It's been a while.
Well, it's been a very long time considering we're not allowed to leave our houses.
I know, but this is the perfect time to be creative and do a podcast, right? Because we're stuck inside and we can test out this Zoom audio, like us talking via the phone, where I'm
Well,
talking into my mic.
it's the perfect time, but I'm the worst podcast partner because I'm a pain in the Batuski.
Listen, all that matters is that we're together now. And by the way, I just saw on Instagram, according to Uber Facts, that taller people tend to be happier than shorter people. What do you think about that?
Oh, I get that because I can't reach anything, and that's very frustrating. Actually, I have a good example about that.
Okay.
Yesterday, I was at the gas station around my block, which also kind of has like a little LCBO in it. And I was
Yeah.
picking my boyfriend up these drinks. And what I was grabbing for him was at the back, like the ones in front of him had already been bought. So I'm like jumping and reaching and trying to grab it. And nobody can help me because like distance, right? You have the
Yeah.
distance in
Yeah.
this time. So I'm like jumping and reaching and grabbing, and I feel like people are watching me and like self-pity, like, oh, I just wish I could help that girl. And
Oh,
finally I was like, screw it. And I ended up kind of climbing the cabinet and grabbing it. But yeah, I mean, tall people don't have really any disadvantages, although tall women, that would be hard.
why?
Well, because like, I don't know. I'm going to sound old school and old fashioned here, but like men are kind of supposed to be stronger and taller and, you know, more handy. And so like me being 5'1", most guys, if not all guys, are always taller than me. And so if you're a short guy, like, I don't know, it kind of sucks, you know?
Well, yeah, and I think you give such good hugs. You're just like the perfect height hug for me, who's 6'1". I'm a whole foot taller than you.
Yeah, but even hugs and kisses can be awkward. Like
Really?
I can never just like look at my partner and just kiss them unless we're sitting. Like I've got to like go on my
You need a
tippy
stepping
toes and he
stool.
has to like go down, and it's not ideal, to be honest.
You just have to bring a
But
stepping
I
stool.
wouldn't change my height for anything. I do like my height.
Yeah. Katie, you're so gorgeous. I'm looking at a picture of you via Zoom.
Oh my God. That
Do you know
was
what picture it
before
is?
quarantine. I'm like 400 pounds plus now.
400 pounds plus. Same.
You know what? You know what has been one of the best things that has like lightened my mood in quarantine?
What?
So like I love flowers, but I've never been like a believer in those kind of bouquet of flowers that like a partner will buy you and then they die 4 days later. My
Yeah.
mom's favorite flower is an orchid. And if you take care of an orchid, it can last for months and months and months. So I spent the money and I bought this beautiful white orchid that there's like two spokes. I don't know if I'm saying
Okay.
that right, but they're going like opposite from each other, and it's white. And then they have these beautiful little purple stems throughout it. And all you have to do for an orchid is put 3 ice cubes in a week and put it somewhere where it will get some sunlight. And it's just like given me so much like hope. Like I'm not gonna die, and I'm not gonna let this orchid
Oh,
die.
oh, I love that.
I'll send you a picture. They're so pretty.
I can't wait to see it. Well, I'm glad that we're checking in with the listeners because it's been a while since we last talked to them. So, hi, everyone.
Hi everyone.
I hope that everyone is staying safe and healthy and staying inside. And hopefully, our episodes can give a little bit of light and joy in these crazy times.
Absolutely. So Ryan, how are you staying safe and healthy?
Well, I'm obviously practicing social distancing. And when I go to the grocery store, I've been wearing a scarf over my face. and Purelling the cart, or sometimes they Purell the cart for you. Like they'll wipe down the cart. And then immediately whenever I get home from anywhere, I'm always washing my hands. Like my hands are so dry and like
Mm.
cracking from all the hand washing. But you know what's interesting is I have a story for you, Katie. The other day, a guy unmatched me on Bumble because I was sticking to the quarantine rules and I wasn't going to meet up with him. I was like, yeah, maybe once all this is over, we can meet up, blah, blah, blah. And he kept like
Oh
kind
my
of,
God, he unmatched you because you didn't want to hang?
yes, he like kept implying like I could really need a blank right now. You can use your imagination. And I was like, oh, you never know. Like once all this ends, like maybe we can hang out, da da da. And he's like, yeah, sure. And then 2 seconds later, unmatched.
That's crazy. You,
I
you know what
know.
that you know what that reminds me of is like in these crazy times, I feel like what's making people incredibly anxious, as myself being one of these examples, is you don't know how people are going to behave. Like I have gone to, we have a food land where I'm from, like in my area, and they are so diligent. Like there's the owner in between the double doors. You have to sanitize your hands. You ask if you've traveled in the last 14 days. There's only one person per party. So like you and I couldn't grocery shop together. She reminds you of like the distancing, and there's lines throughout the grocery store. It's like I go to that place and I feel very calm and like, oh, it's okay. I can grab my groceries, no problem. And then you go other freaking places and like it's a zoo.
Yeah.
And then I feel very uncomfortable. And I personally, that's why I feel very unsettled going out, is because like I don't know if I'm going to get the Foodland experience or if I'm going to get like that Walmart experience, which just makes me very high anxiety. So the fact that a guy was like, I'm going to unmatch you because you can't hang out, like, hello, no one's supposed to hang out, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, it's interesting because I tweeted about it and I got replies, and I also posted on my Instagram story about it. And on both social media platforms, I was getting replies from people who said the exact same thing happened to them within the last few days. So
That's crazy.
yeah, and it's like, what do these people think? Like, yeah, okay, I can't go outside and I'll respect that, but I can have close human body contact with someone else hooking up in a
Yeah, that I
stranger's
don't
house
even know.
that I
That I
don't
don't
even
even
know.
know.
Oh, I don't understand people. Like, what's wrong with
So
you?
so many people are so dumb. Like my mom has an apartment in North Toronto, and she went to like the No Frills or something in the area, and again, like very cautious, social distance, blah blah blah, very much controlling it, and she felt very safe there. And then for whatever reason, she went to a metro around the corner, and my mom lives in a good area of North Toronto. She ended up basically beelining it out of there because they just let anyone in, and she like popped her head down the spice aisle, and she's like, there was at least 10 people, and we know how like thin grocery aisles are.
Yeah.
She's like, what the hell? And she ran because it's getting so serious. And a personal story that I have that weirds me out, my boyfriend and I have like a Keurig, so we have like coffee at home every morning. But
Hmm.
whenever I decide to like drive into town, because I live in the country, so if I want to drive into town or drive in to see my parents, I treat myself to a Tim Hortons. And I got a Tim Hortons the other day. I actually was meeting my mom at the Canadian Tire, and she was like, do you want a coffee? I was like, I'm going to get a coffee. Do you want me to get you a coffee? Blah, blah, blah. So we decided we're going to get our own coffees and meet at Canadian Tire. Go to Tim Hortons and like picture yourself watching an outdoor, I don't know, hockey tournament in the middle of February. Like picture yourself cradling that cup, like how cold you'd be. Go to the Tim Hortons, order my coffee. This guy hands me my coffee with no gloves on, two hands cradling my coffee. I was just kind of stunned. And you know me, I'm not very confrontational. So I was like, and took it by the lid and then called my mom. And I was like, yeah, you need to grab me a coffee because I can't drink that. Like, it's just such a weird world that we're living in. Like I'm having a hard time adapting, but then when you see people not adapting at all, like this guy that wants you to hang out,
Yeah.
like, hello, do you know what world we're living in?
Well, you know what's interesting is that I think that this is going to change the way that we do everything. I think the plexiglass that they're putting up at grocery stores and I've seen over drive-through windows, I think they're going to keep that. I have a feeling that after all this is over, they're going to keep a lot of these precautions in place. Like, yeah, the grocery stores maybe won't limit how many people enter, but there may be lines on the floor to keep people 6 feet apart.
No, for sure. I mean, I think that our entire culture is just going to change. Okay, so one of the craziest things, like, I know that when the government lifts this like self isolation and people can go back to work and stuff, we're not going to adopt the same behaviors that we've had all along. Like, we have to stop being so germy. But I was talking to my dad the other day, like, my dad's British, and he like raised me on the importance of a good handshake. Like, look someone in the eye, have a firm but not too tight grip, and shake their hand. And
Mhm.
actually my first tattoo is behind my ear, but it was going to be on my wrist. But my dad being so adamant about the importance of a good handshake, I thought to myself, I don't want to shake someone's hand for the rest of my life looking at a tattoo. And now, like, I think the whole business of shaking someone's hand is going to be eradicated. Like, I don't think that's going to be
Really?
normal behavior. And they're saying, like, the Japanese way, how they kind of bow,
Yeah.
will be maybe adopted, or kind of like the air fist pump will be adopted. But, like, it's just so sad. Like, our world, everybody, I feel like most people think, like, this virus is what it is, and then when it's over, we're going to go back to how we were.
No.
But that's not the case. The economy is going to be crashed. People are going to be insanely more depressed than they were. There's probably going to be a lot of alcoholism that comes out of this, and like our basic principles of hugging and shaking hands, and like I feel like a lot of that is going to be taken from us. So I feel like our society is going to have to kind of reevaluate how we, like, I don't know, how we hang out with people, I guess.
I agree 100%. And I want to check in with you and see what you're doing to keep busy during quarantine. But first, I want to, for both of us, to provide some updates to our listeners. So I know on my end, I recently lost my job. My role was eliminated due to budget cuts because of the pandemic. It was kind of, I started to expect it because there was a first round of layoffs. And so after that, I was kind of expecting it working in travel because this is really hitting the travel industry hard. But even though I started to expect it, it still was very tough. And
Yeah, it still sucked.
yeah, and it's like, all these people that I was working with and had become friends with, it's just, it almost, after the first round of layoffs, it felt like I was mourning them. And, in hindsight, obviously you can stay in touch with people after you don't work with them and all that. But in the moment, I don't know if anyone else has experienced this before where they've, coworkers have been fired or laid off, or they left the company and people you're really close to, but it felt like I was mourning them. Like it felt like they had died. And I'm dramatic, so maybe that's a bit dramatic, but that's how I was
Wait,
feeling.
Ryan, are you saying you're dramatic? I've
Katie
never,
Jones,
I've never felt that way about you before.
stop. Katie, I'm trying to be serious. So it's been a tough couple of weeks, and I know, Katie, I'm sure you'll share your side of this too, but I know a lot of Canadians, and our listeners come from all over the place, but speaking from being here in Canada, I think it was like at least 1 million people when this started to impact Canada applied to employment insurance. So benefits, usually for people that are unemployed
Yeah.
due to whatever reasons. And that's crazy. Like the amount of people that have applied since all this started, I believe is the same amount that they saw in, I could be wrong, but I think it was in a year or 2 years in Canada. And it's just affecting so many people in different ways. And it's been really tough. And it's like tie that into self-isolation and not having an income. It hits you hard. Like, how are you dealing with that?
Well, without getting into too much detail, because I can ramble on forever, March 13th was the last day of my work, and I could feel that I probably wasn't going to be back to work on the Monday. Like March 13th was a Friday, and I pulled aside like one of my people in my department. Like I work in the art department. By the way, I work in film and TV. I pulled aside this one girl that's in my department, and I just said, because I knew this was going to get bad, and I knew we probably were going to end all production. And I just said to her, I was like, thank you so much for everything that you've done. Like you know, I was lost in the hospitality world for a long time, and you guys took me in, and we had this big cry. And, you know, she expressed like how good of a job I've done and how much the department loves me. And it was a beautiful moment. And then I went in and I pulled like the head of my department aside. And I was kind of crying coming off that previous conversation. And I hugged her and I said, I don't know what's going to happen with this virus. And I don't know when I'm going to see you next. But, you know, I'm very grateful for the life that I've had, like Australia, Southeast Asia, BC. But I did get lost in hospitality for a while. And this company and this experience changed my life. And I just kind of told her that, and we were both crying. And I just said, you know, thank you. Like, you changed my life. And I really hope that when this stuff is over, we can see each other again. And she said very kind words toward me, you know, like, you have been a huge asset to this company and whatever. And that was the last time I've seen anyone. And for me, I'm not an introvert. I'm an extrovert. I love making people laugh. Everybody that knows me knows I have 1,000 and more questions for people. And that for me has been the hardest. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't get to see people and ask them
Yeah.
like, what'd you do last night? Or like, who's your girlfriend? How long you been dating her? Or like, what music do you like? And one of the hardest things is I haven't hugged my mom in almost a month.
Uh,
And so for me, I'm at a very stable place in my life now, but I had a breakdown about 2 weeks into it. My mom was quite worried about me that day, and my friend ended up actually rescuing me. But she called me, and I just said, like, I haven't hugged you in weeks. I haven't made anybody laugh. I don't know. Like, I feel like I have more of a purpose than just cleaning this house. And one of my favorite things in the world is to make people laugh. And I felt like that privilege was taken from me. Like, you know, I know that sounds selfish because there's sick people out there and people that are, you know, of very low income. But for me, it was like one of my favorite things in the world is to make people laugh. And I haven't been able to do that now for a month. And that's very hard.
and I think, and I totally can relate to that, as far as being able to see people in person. And at least you have this outlet on the podcast, because trust me, you make a lot of people laugh out there. And I'm sure the listeners can, okay, whatever that was, I'm sure the listeners can DM us and let us know. But you make people smile. And I think that for me, you know, for the first week it was okay for working from home, because it's like, you know, you get to sleep in a little bit more. And at that point it didn't feel like this was going to last forever. Like, you knew it was going to last a while. That was
Yeah.
probably, you know, the start of March or mid-March. But now, as this goes on, and I'm going to have to spend my birthday in quarantine, and it's like, you can't even go to a restaurant. You can't even go and see a movie. You can't, you know, there's other things like there's Netflix Party. I don't know if you've heard about that. It's like a Chrome extension where you can watch a Netflix show or movie
Brian, you
with
know that
someone
I'm
else.
1,000 years old. Of course, I haven't heard about that.
Well, you can watch a show and like chat with the person, but it's not the same as human contact. And it's like you said about hugs. It's like, even if you see your family, like if you're quarantined with family, you're still supposed to be keeping the distance.
Yeah,
It's been
exactly.
tough.
And like my cousin, is due, and thank God it's her second kid, so it's not her first time coming around. But like, how terrifying is that for like a mom that's been like pregnant for 9 months and now she has to give birth and you can't even walk outside your door? Like, it's a very scary situation.
Oh,
Sorry, I don't want to talk about that. It makes me very sad.
okay.
I find I have days where it's like, all right, whatever, isolation, laundry, vacuum, sweeping, get on with it. And other days I'm like, oh my God, like I haven't seen anyone other than my mom and dad, which I'm grateful for seeing, but like I haven't seen like people. Like
Yeah.
I'm not trying to boost myself here, but one of my best attributes is I am funny and I'm fun to be around. And I haven't been able to express that side of myself in like over a month, basically, or a month.
And
And
that must be
that's
tough.
very hard. It's very hard. And then I feel very selfish for even saying that, because there are these amazing medical people that are working around the clock, and there are people dying from this, and people are way worse off than me just not making people laugh. But in the moment, like, you become selfish by what you're going through, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's tough. It's like, how do you spend your days now? And my friend actually made a really good point. She's currently working and she's had to do all of her onboarding for a new job, all completely virtually, all from work from home. Like, she met a couple of people through the interview process, but her coworkers, she's never met in person because all this happened before her first day of working. So
Yeah.
imagine that. And she told me, for me, who no longer has, a day-to-day work schedule Monday to Friday that I'd gotten so used to for 4 months, I have to adjust. And she made a really good point. She said, schedule your day as if you have a job and assign yourself tasks. So, even if it's like house cleaning, like I haven't backed up my computer in, a couple months. So I did that. My screenshots folder were like 5,000 screenshots. It's like, what? Like, why do I have 5,000 screenshots? So now I've got it to under
Yeah, for
2,000 and I
sure.
want to get it to under 1,000. So it's like assigning
Okay, but
yourself
Ryan,
tasks.
I want to ask you, you you and I spoke when you hadn't been laid off yet due to this situation. Obviously, like, you would never be fired. You're an amazing worker, but because
Uh-huh.
of the situation, and you hadn't been laid off yet, but a lot of people had in your company, and I know that you were scared. Like, how did you
Yeah.
feel during that time, and did you feel like it was coming? And when you were laid off, how did that feel? Like, take me through those moments.
Wow. We're getting, back to our journalism days. That's a great question. Uh, and I appreciate it because it's important to reflect. And when the first round of people were laid off, there was a bit of survivor's guilt in a way because I was so new, a couple months being there,
Yeah,
and there
like,
were people.
I wasn't cut, like, thank God.
Exactly. Like, at first you're like, I wasn't let go. Like, that's great. Like, they must really value me there. But I was thinking more on a personal level, whereas like they were cutting people from a business decision. It wasn't necessarily like, oh, they value this person more than the other. It's just from a business decision. So when I was seeing people that were laid off that had been there for like 8 years, and then I had been there a couple months and I was still there, I felt a bit guilty. And then seeing
Yeah.
people because it was all work from home at that point. So it's not like you saw people walk out of the office with their stuff. You started seeing them deactivated on Slack, and starting to see people being deactivated on Slack. It was a really tough thing to see. And like I said, it felt almost like I was mourning someone's death. As dramatic as that is, it felt really sad.
Oh, for sure. I understand that.
It was really hard to hear of these people that you get to know get laid off. So then there's a bit of mourning, a bit of guilt, sadness for
And
sure.
a
Like,
bit
I
of
felt like I was.
relief that you weren't a part of the pact as well.
There was that. There was that as well because, as anxious as it is, being like, okay, well, what if I'm a part of the next round of layoffs? If there are more rounds of layoffs, I still had to look at the positive and say, well, I'm still making a full income every day. Because even if I apply to EI, I'm making what, like half of that. So it's like, I'm still making a full income every day. Let me show my value. Let me continue to work hard. So for the next couple of days, I kind of came to grips with everything because I started to realize that this is totally out of my control. If I stay here and I'm anxious about getting laid off, then at least I'm making a full income every day that I'm working, right? Take it day by day.
100%. I think that a really good friend of yours named Katie also gave you that advice.
Did you?
If I'm remembering it correctly.
Did you?
Yeah, I said, like, honor the fact that you haven't been let go, take
Yeah,
it day by day, and understand that whatever happens is out of your control.
you're right. And I appreciate that advice. And that's what I started to do. And by the time the next week came, I was like, you know what? Either way, I'm going to be okay. Like, I'm glad to be in a situation where I still live with family and I have some savings. And, imagine if I had a mortgage or kids or anything like that. I'm grateful that I'm in a situation where I
Or
have a
an
little bit of a safety
expensive
net.
boyfriend. Imagine you had a very expensive boyfriend.
What do you mean by expensive boyfriend? Like, are you saying that
Like
he's on the
had
payroll
like
to be
like
my boyfriend?
love to live the high life, like expensive everything, and you were like the sugar daddy, and you're like,
Katie, first of all, you think I'm
Bob,
going to be the
stop
sugar daddy?
spending all this money on watches. And he's like, but Ryan, I need like the new Chanel. And you being such a giver, you'd be like, God, I can't afford it. But okay, you buy that. You buy
Stop.
those Gucci's.
Stop it. I love how you
You
have this
would.
whole you have this whole
You
like
would.
storyline in your head.
Oh, I know you. You are either going to marry an extremely rich person, or you're going to become extremely rich and marry someone like you're not going to end up with someone with the same kind of money as you.
You don't think
It's
so? What if we're both rich?
not at all. You are going to have
Stop.
a sugar daddy, or you're going to be the sugar daddy.
Stop it.
100%. I would put, and this is going to be on tape. I'd put $10,000 on it.
Stop.
Okay, I don't
Oh
have
my
$10,000 to throw away. I'd put $20 on it. No,
an
you
East
are
Side
either
Mario's
going to
dinner.
be the rich one, or you're going to marry. I No matter what, you're going to be successful, and I
Aw.
know that there's going to be a lot of money coming your way because you're just a very intelligent and driven person. But I'm saying you're either going to marry a very sexy, older, wealthy man, or you're going to be that.
That's really nice of you. I
You're
appreciate
you're
that.
not gonna end up with a Ryan Durgy. You're gonna end up with like Orlando Bloom, or I don't know, younger actors.
Wait, what's that mean? I'm not going to end up with a Ryan Durgy.
I know. I mean, you're not gonna date yourself. You're
No.
not gonna date someone that has the same income as you, that looks like you. That
No.
I feel like you're probably gonna honestly, it's like you're probably gonna end up with someone that's a bit older, that's extremely successful, and I feel like he's also gonna take you around the world. I feel like you're gonna end up with someone that's a huge traveler,
Yeah.
and you're gonna like eat weird fish in like Japan.
Stop. I'm gonna
Like
eat weird
I
fish.
honestly feel like that's gonna happen.
Oh, that's really sweet. Thank you. Well, we're putting that out there now.
Come on, handsome older man.
So what have you been doing day to day? Like I tried to do like this knitting thing where you like make a blanket with your hands, and within 20 minutes, I can't remember if I sent you the snap or not. I was like so excited. Within 20 minutes of following this YouTube tutorial, I gave up. I was like, I don't have the patience for this. and I stopped doing
Oh
the blanket.
my God, I feel the exact same way. So like all of my friends are like, painting is so fun. It's
Yeah.
so fun. It's so relaxing. And like one of my friends is like a big weed smoker. She's like, yeah, I just like smoke a joint and paint. It's like the best time ever. My other friend is like, yeah, I just like crack some beers and paint. So I was like, ugh, okay, I'll try this. And like, I was like, okay, I don't want to do like big things. So I'll start with trims, door trims or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get in the mode. Like, I put on a cute little painter's outfit. I blast my favorite playlist. I
Yeah.
got a cold glass of wine.
Of
And I'm
course.
like, oh, I hate this.
Why?
Like,
Wait, why did you start hating it?
I have moments where I'm like, oh, this isn't so bad. And then I realize how much more I have to do. I'm like, I hate this so much.
Yeah, see, that's the thing is you start it and you're so excited, but then you need you need to see it through. And
I
that's
know,
tough
no,
sometimes.
and all my friends like, oh, painting's so fun. Like, it's so relaxing. Like, it's the best ever. And I'm painting going, I would rather pick like thorns out of my toes than be doing this.
But you
Like,
know what
I'm
else?
not enjoying this. Like, if it takes 3 hours, I enjoyed it for like 10 minutes.
Or like, people that are doing 1,000-piece puzzles, like I could not. I
Oh my
don't.
God, get fucked, those people. You are not
Stop.
enjoying that. There is no way that you are enjoying a 1,000-piece
No,
puzzle.
I think people do. There's
No,
actually a video.
get romantic and get cute and do a puzzle. On 1,000-piece bollocks. I don't believe that.
Hey, Katie, there's a video, and I don't know, it's probably staged, but this person, it looks like they're in a relationship. It looks like it's a guy and a girl, and she puts in her last piece or last two pieces of this probably 1,500-piece puzzle. It takes up like her entire living room tabletop, and the boyfriend comes in and throws it against the wall, and it breaks
That's
into
exactly
pieces.
what I would have done.
What? What? Stop.
No, I wouldn't have done that, but like, oh, get over yourself if you're pretending that you're enjoying spending 9,000 hours on a puzzle. Like, you're not that cute and you're not that creative. That is ridiculous.
Oh my gosh.
Ridiculous. First of all, when you dump a puzzle on a table, you have to flip all of them on their right side,
Yeah.
which takes, I don't know, fucking forever, probably. And then you have to make a 15,000-piece puzzle. Like, oh, come on.
No, I do think there are people that love that.
And those people suck. And those people.
Stop.
Okay, no, sorry. They don't suck, but they need to find some other outlets of amusement, because I'll do a puzzle, no problem. But if it takes you a month to do a puzzle and that's your main excitement, you have some problems, honey.
What about some other things? Like, are you someone that's journaling? Like, I could see you writing poetry or doing a journal.
I can tell you something that I've started. It's not
Okay.
journaling. I started making candles.
Okay, tell me about that. How do you do that? Because I love candles.
Okay, so I'm addicted to candles. So whenever I come home, I light a candle in every single room, like from the kitchen to the bathroom, the living room, and the bedroom. So I thought, well, my favorite place of buying candles is Winners, because not only are they discounted, which is nice because candles are very expensive, but you get a whole like variety of different makes and different scents, different sizes, colors. So obviously Winners is closed, which is like heart fucking breaking. But so I decided, okay, you're in isolation. What is one thing that makes you very happy? Candles. So I ordered this like 10-pound bag of soy like wax.
Yeah.
And then I ordered also like a bunch of wicks. It's very cheap. There's like 50 for like $10.
Oh.
And then I have so much candles around my house. I like saved all of the jars that came in. So I have like 15. So what you do, and I'm still learning it, it takes time. Oh, and then I bought like a lavender essential oil. So basically what you do is you clean out like the candle jar that you want to use, make it dry, put any adhesive, whether it's double-sided tape or Gorilla Glue or whatever, put the candle wick and hold it for a couple minutes because it wants to wobble. And then you have to grab something that's going to make it like stand in the middle. So maybe chopsticks or any tool that you have. While you're doing that, you put all your candle wax in a double broiler. That's what I'm doing. So you get a big pot of boiling water, and then you put another pot on top of it with your candle wax. So the heat from the bottom pot like melts that top wax.
Yeah,
Let that go, and then you add whatever essential oil you have, or you don't have to if you don't want it to be scented, but I like scented.
of
So I
course.
put lavender. And then you take it off and you let it cool for just a couple minutes. You don't want it to harden, but you don't want it to be like boiling hot. And then you hold whatever you're using, chopsticks or whatever, hold the candle wick so it's in place, and you pour that into it. It takes, I don't know, an hour to settle, give or take. And then you light it, and it's so satisfying when it smells good and it burns great. It's like, I did that.
Wow, I'm impressed with you. And if you're thinking about doing a do-it-yourself birthday gift for me, just saying, I wouldn't mind a Katie Jones made candle.
I'll make you one. Oh, and also I started playing the guitar again, which is nice.
Oh, really? Can you do a song for us right now?
Absolutely no way. But
Oh my
okay, what time
gosh.
is it? It's 10 after 3. Can I officially have a glass of wine?
I think that it would be okay. I think that there's no rules with quarantine. I will put.
I love the meme where it's like there's no time anymore. It's either coffee time or wine time.
Of course, you would find that meme. I haven't even seen that meme. Katie Joe just finds memes to give her an excuse to drink.
Oh, they're drinking. I guess I have to too.
So, Katie Jones, thank you for spending this time in quarantine with me together, but actually far apart and socially distant via a Zoom call. I'm so glad that we could connect again and hopefully bring our listeners some joy, because it's a tough time for everyone. And I'm just glad to hear your voice again, and glad to hear that you're doing okay. It's a tough time, but I love that you always remain so positive.
Absolutely. And to our listeners, as goofy and ridiculous as I am, this world is a very scary place right now. I feel for anyone that is having a hard time. Wash your hands, social distance, as we all know, and just do whatever makes you happy. And if lying in bed makes you happy, do it, and don't feel bad about it. Go on walks, get exercise, breathe in the fresh air. Spring is here and summer is coming. So you're not alone. If you're sad, you're just not alone. That's all I want to say.
Oh, I love that. You always say things so well. You could write Hallmark cards.
It's because I'm brilliant, Ryan.
You are brilliant. Your Hallmark cards would be in the sassy section, though. Like it would be like kind of like a sassy with an edge birthday
Oh,
card or
they
thank
have
you
like
card.
they have like big butts and like
Like
a
an
sassy quote.
exactly, yeah. Like
Also, listeners, I would like to say a shout out to one of my best friends, Ryan, who was patient and kind and a very good person. Ryan, you are an amazing person, and I love you so much. These times are very hard, but I cherish our friendship. And to anyone that's listening, like, just stay healthy and stay smiling.
wow, Ryan sounds like a nice guy. I want to meet him.
Oh, he's a nice guy.
I heard he's cute too.
Very cute. He's got these big blue eyes as well.
Aw, I love you too, Katie Jones, and I'm so glad that we've been best friends for, let's figure this out, 6 years now. Wow.
Yeah, 6 going on 7 years.
Is it going on 7? I feel like I feel like the month of March was like 5 years, to be honest.
Oh, for sure. It's been a long time of our amazing friendship,
It has
and
been.
I value you, and all of our listeners. We value you so much. And if you're listening to this on the treadmill, or if you're listening to this on your couch, you are worthy, you're okay, and we're all going to get through this.
Oh, I love that. Thanks everyone for listening. Feel free to follow us on social media at ITA. Wait, I'm trying to remember what we are. Okay. It's been a while. At Is This Adulthood
And
on Instagram.
I'm KTW. Oh my God, it's been a long time. KTW Jones? I don't even know what my Instagram.
No, that is.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
And then Twitter, I don't know. I don't even know what day it is.
I think on Twitter you're Katie Jones and then a number?
No, I'm 01 Katie Jones.
Oh, okay. Yeah. 01
Right.
Katie Jones. Yeah, 01 Katie Jones. Okay.
And
on
what's your handle?
Okay, at Ryan Durgy, RyanDurgy. On Instagram, the podcast is ITA_podcast. And on Instagram, Is This Adulthood? Thanks for listening, everyone. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay inside.
Stay positive, wash your hands, and remember that we're going to get through this.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.